Hey guys, Bob Brennaman. I am back with you today and continuing on with the Ask Bob series. A question I get asked a lot is about the schools in Mount Pleasant. And, I will tell you, I live in Mount Pleasant, obviously, but I encourage you, if you're looking in the Charleston area, if you can afford Mount Pleasant, I think it's very much worth the extra cost due to the fact that you're going to have to resell your house one day. Whether you do or, your heirs do or whatever, and whether you have kids in school or not, I think good school districts are super important to the resale of real estate. So I encourage you, if you can get in Mount Pleasant, I think it would be a good idea to do that. The school districts, it's the second largest in the state of South Carolina. The school district is Charleston County. So Charleston County covers a lot of our area and covers Mount Pleasant schools. 100% of Mount Pleasant schools have achieved excellent ratings from the South Carolina Department of Education. In 2010, Mount Pleasant was home to the National Principal of the Year, Lucy Beckham. Right now, there are 8 public elementary schools, and I've kind of run through some of the ones I like. There's, again, 8 of them, so we won't go through all of them. Mount Pleasant Academy, probably one of my favorite ones. Small class size, it's in Old Mount Pleasant. It overlooks the back of Sullivan's Island, and it's new. It's been rebuilt in the last 5 or 6 years, and it's a national blue ribbon school of excellence, and you can Google what that means, but it's a good school. Another one that was recently built kind of across the street from where I live is Jenny Moore Elementary. And Jenny Moore was rebuilt with Lang Middle School, but Jenny Moore is pre-K through 5th grade, and there's not a ton of students that go to that school. They've redistricted a lot of them, so you don't have as big a class sizes as you have in the past. And then the one that recently opened in Carolina Park is Carolina Park Elementary. So I like that one a lot, and I have some clients that live in Carolina Park, and they have really had a lot of positive things to say about that elementary school. There are 9 private elementary schools in Mount Pleasant. The 2 biggest ones would be Christ Our King, and that is a Catholic church-run school, and that goes pre-K through 8th grade. And a lot of kids that go there and want to continue on the Catholic track end up at Bishop England, which is on Daniel Island, and is probably about 3 or 4 miles from where Stella Maris and Christ Our King are. And then the other one is Palmetto Christian Academy. Palmetto Christian is a very highly regarded school, private school in Mount Pleasant. And they're expanding it right now, so there's a lot of growth with that school, and I could recommend that one. As far as middle schools, there are 4 public middle schools in Mount Pleasant. Moultrie Middle School probably being my favorite. It's in the same school district area as Mount Pleasant Academy, and Moultrie Middle School is off of Coleman Boulevard. So if you lived in the old village, old Mount Pleasant area, your kids could ride their bikes to school while they were in grade school at Mount Pleasant Academy, and then continue to ride their bikes to school, because Moultrie and Mount Pleasant Academy are separated by probably 15 or 20 blocks. So if you live somewhere in that area, you could spend your whole time, your kids biking to school. Another one middle school that a lot of people seem to like is East Cooper Montessori Charter School. I have some clients that send their kids there, and they've been happy with that. There are 5 private middle schools in Mount Pleasant. The 2 private middle schools that I like are Palmetto Christian, which again is in massive expansion mode right now with a new gymnasium and more classes, and Christ Our King. We have a lot of friends that send their kids to Christ Our King, and that's a really fine school. So I would recommend those schools as far as private middle schools. In Mount Pleasant, you have only one public high school right now, and that's Wando. There are about 4,000 students, and that's a pretty daunting, to me, it's a big number of high school students. They're building another high school in Mount Pleasant that will siphon off some of that student body population, and that name of that school is the Lucy Beckham High School. And Lucy Beckham was the National Principal of the Year. They named the school after her. So the new one that's being built on Whipple Road and Mathis Ferry is actually where the old Wando used to be. So when Wando was first opened in Mount Pleasant, it was where they're building the new Lucy Beckham High School. And that's slated to open. The 9th and 10th grade will open in 2020. And then the next year they'll do 11th grade, and then the following year 12th grade will be added. So that's going to be a great high school option, and the maximum number of students for that school is going to be 1,500. So it'll be much smaller than Wando. Private high schools in Mount Pleasant, again, getting back to Palmetto Christian, they are K through 12, and they are really expanding their high school population right now. good school, good opportunity for your kids to play sports because it's not as, it's not as big as some of the public schools. And then the oldest private school in Mount Pleasant is Coastal Christian Preparatory School, and that is in Old Mount Pleasant. And we have friends that send their kids there, and they've been, been happy with it. So I think you've got some good options. As far as higher education goes, there are about 24 colleges and universities in the Charleston area. The colleges and universities here in the area typically end up, on the Peterson's and USA News and World Report's best list, and a lot of other respected guides for colleges. So really good education. I went to College of Charleston. Shout out to the Go Cougars. I went there and I had a great time. Graduated at 98, a little late for my age, but I can't recommend that school enough. I had some good times there. Anyway, that's kind of a rundown on schools in this area. If you want to talk about schools, you want to talk about restaurants, where to stay, if you're coming here for the weekend and you just want some recommendations on things to do, I am happy to share any bit of information I can with you. I love talking about Charleston. Again, my name's Bob Brennaman. You can reach me at 843-345-6074. And you can always check out our website devoted to Mount Pleasant, which is mountpleasantproperty.net. Or you can see our main website that covers all of Charleston, which is BrennamanGroup.com. Till next time, y'all,